Good evening, guys, and welcome. My name is Dr. Nanette K. Hartley, and I am your instructor for this class, and I am so glad to have you here. I do apologize for my delay in getting things put up and put together. I am so sorry for that. I'm usually much more on top of stuff, but we've had a lot of things change in the last few days with some things that are going on with the school on the instruction side, so I apologize for that. But hopefully we've got everything put together now so that you will have everything that you need. I just wanted to give you a brief introduction to some of the stuff on this end. We'll talk about a lot of this in class when we meet for the first time. But I wanted to give you a brief intro to where things are, where you can find things, what some of the expectations are, so that you'll know about that stuff. So I am sharing with you my screen. This is our D2L shell. And I have dismissed the notification that I could see that said, hey, by the way, this is still under construction. So then this is our course announcements, which you may or may not be able to see right now. I think that this is actually not available to you yet, but this is our introduction that you will see. And this has a bunch of stuff that I'm asking you to do. There's a checklist of things that I want you to be able to look at. This gives you, there'll be a link to this introductory video as soon as I'm done recording it. You'll have a link to the schedule, which I am still completing, so that you'll have an idea of everything that needs to be completed. You'll be able to sign up for Alex, which is where we do all of our homework and our labs. You'll be able to see the lecture PowerPoints. I'll show you that in just a minute. The worksheets that are available for that, the exam handouts, which are a big part of what you'll need or what you'll get on the exams. We'll talk about the labs themselves. I have office hours that will be held virtually or in person, and depending on what time they are. And you'll see that in my availability. There's a link to my schedule there, so I can show you that. Hopefully it'll let me. Yep. So that takes you to my availability. This shows the dates when I'm on campus. So these are my campus hours, my office hours for that day if I have them, and where they're located, and at what times, and then where I'm going to be if I'm in class that day. So if I'm in class, this is where I'm located. Okay, so I do have some times when I'm in class and sometimes when I'm just on campus and in my office. So my office is located in the 970 building. It's 302L. It is a locked hallway. There's a phone at the end of it. So if you wanted to come and see me, you would pick up that phone and dial my extension, and I would be able to come and let you in. So that's how that works. I do have on Wednesday, right after the lecture, I do leave campus and I do something around lunchtime, and then I work the rest of my day from 1 to 8:30 at night remote. So that is how that works. So, and my day Friday also ends right after our lecture, so at 10 a.m. So that is another thing that is, yeah, that's when I finish my day on Friday. So I schedule that so that is when I'm done. So if you guys need to talk to me, we can talk after class on Friday, but I will want to leave by about 11 o'clock. So just to make sure. And sometimes I have meetings that I have to go to after them. So there's my availability. So now you've seen that. There's another checklist that you will be able to get to, and I will let you take a look at that. There are some other announcements that will come up for you guys about the discussions, and there's an introductory discussion. We'll talk about that. There are surveys that you guys are going to do, so there's a couple of things like that. And there'll be some other general announcements about things that are required as we go through stuff. Now, I'm viewing this as a student, so I should be able to see what you guys should be able to see. And if I click on content, I see a whole bunch of course documents. And then if I close that up, I see lab signups and lab tutorial videos. And if you notice, there's no little arrow right here next to the lab tutorial videos. That's because there's nothing in it yet. So those have not been released yet for a reason. So they'll probably get loaded this weekend, but they're not there yet. And this is the lab signups. So you'll be able to see this. So this will talk about how you can register for PAVO. So we have an exterior system where we're doing our safety video. So you have to watch this safety video. And once you've completed that, there's an assignment there that you have to complete. And you'll either complete that there and acknowledge it, and it will be stored there, or you'll just get a copy of it. You can download it and then sign it, and then you can upload it to the assignments. I don't know which one is going to be true. I know which one I was told is going to be true, and that's that it's supposed to be stored there. But if that doesn't happen, then there is a place in the assignments where you can upload that, and that's right here under the safety rules. Now, if you don't know how to upload things to D2L, if you haven't done that, or if you don't know how to do it, let me know. I do have this set so that you can only submit one document, and it has to be in PDF format. So if you don't know how to do that, under content, there is a PDF instructions for chem labs. And this will tell you what tools you have available to collect all of that stuff together to make one document. These are skills that you will definitely need to have once you leave this university. So I am trying to make sure that you have those skills. So if you need help with that, I'm perfectly happy to help. I learned at one point, so I understand that not everybody knows. So let's make sure that we have those skills as we move. So there are a bunch of documents here. There's the course syllabus, the syllabus addendum, the lab schedule. So these are the labs that we'll be doing in the order in which we'll be doing them. The exam handouts, and we'll talk about those for just a second. There is a 14-page document here, and this is all of the information that you get on your exams. Okay, you will get a copy of these from me. So they will have nothing written on them. That is the reason that you get them from me. I do not allow you to mark on them previous to coming to the exam because I have no idea what you wrote on them. And what I don't want is to have you writing certain things on this periodic table that you can then use during the test. So that's a no-no, which is why you don't get to do that. You'll get a copy from me. You will be able to, so it's in like an hour cover, and I allow you to write all over the cover because then I can clean it. So not a big deal, but you will be using the exam handouts. Now these exam handouts, I have done everything I can to match this with the numbers that are in ALEKS. So these numbers should match ALEKS. Now, the numbers that are here are the masses that are in ALEKS, so you can use those masses. There also show the periodic table numbers. These are the numbers that are on this table because my vision is terrible, so I cannot read these. So that way you have two ways to look at those numbers. Okay. So on the tests, you are perfectly fine to work with these numbers because they often don't have as many decimal places. But in ALEKS, you are expected to use all of those decimal places. And there's a reason for that. If you don't, you'll end up with rounding errors. And that is a big problem. ALEKS will count those numbers wrong because you didn't use all of those numbers. So make sure that you're using them all. Okay. There are a bunch of conversion factors that are here, and this down here we'll talk about when we talk about gases, but this means that 1 atmosphere is equal to 760 torr. It's also equal to 760 millimeters of mercury, and so we can set any of them equal to each other as a conversion factor, and we'll talk about that later. This is our table of molecular geometries that we'll be talking about eventually, and then there's a bunch of useful equations here. There's some information that's not labeled very well. So the impetus is on you to understand what that is, but those numbers are here for your use. So like this is Avogadro's number, but you need to know that that's Avogadro's. So all of these equations are here for your use, but you need to know what they're there for and what they are. There are two values of R that we work with. When you use which one, you need to know. So there are times when we use that. Now, some of these things don't apply to 110, they're for 111. So, but I use the same set of handouts for both. So not all of the information that is here applies to 110, but all of the information applies to 111 because it's relevant to both classes. So we will talk about anything that's on here that will become relevant to you. And I will refer to this a lot because I use it as a tool to teach you this information, as well as to refer to it to say, hey, you should be practicing with this. It is my expectation that you will use this when you're doing the practice sheets that I've given you, when you're working in ALEKS, and when you're doing the practice tests that I've given you, so that you get familiar with using it because it is available to you on the exams. Okay. There is a copy of the lab manual here. This is an electronic copy of the lab manual. You will get a printed copy from me. There is something in here that's interesting for you. So these are all clickable links, so you can use that. But if you scroll down to page 13, this right here is a clickable thing. Now, you have to use this to sign up for your Flex Labs. So you may have seen that Flex Labs are how we do labs for this class. So you have a fixed lecture time, but you can go to lab at any given time during the times that we offer it. So right now we're offering labs 8 to 11, Monday through Friday, or Monday through Thursday, sorry, Monday through Thursday, 8 to 11, 11:30 to 2:30, 3, 3 to 6, and then we have one night, Wednesday night, 6 to 9 p.m. So that if nobody wants to go to that time, we will probably stop offering it. But that is when those labs are available to you. This right here, if you click this, will take you to the booking page for the labs. And so you'll be signing up for a given lab on a particular date and time. So you'll pick the date that you want to go and the time that is available for that particular lab. Now you won't see all of those times right now, and that's because we don't currently have coverage for everything. So we need to get some other bodies in there to do the coverage. So we are working on that as we speak, and by the beginning of next week, we will probably have all of these times covered. So that should not be an issue. You should be able to pick any time you want and be able to do that. You'll need to come down here, fill in your first and last name, your email, and your phone number. I need all of that information. I want your student ID. That is for check purposes, so we make sure that you are who we think you are. And then you need to pick the name of the experiment that you're going to be doing when you're in the laboratory. Okay, we need to know which lab you're coming for, so we make sure that we have the right materials prepared for when you're there. Okay. Once you've signed up for an experiment, you are expected to be there at that time. Now you can change when you're coming. You have to do so with at least 24 hours notice. So if you have to have the lab completed by Thursday, you need to make sure that you've made any changes so by Wednesday. So you have to have that done because the labs are only open that week. So you've got to make sure that you've made those changes with enough time to be able to attend. You can't just not show up for lab and expect that you can reschedule whenever you feel like it. That's not how this works. So you have to go to when you're supposed to sign up. You will get, after you've done the sign up and after you've done the safety quiz, and we'll talk about the quiz in just a minute, you will get a QR code, which then will tell us on the receiving end what time you're supposed to be there, what date, and whether or not you passed that safety quiz. So that you won't get that QR code without having passed the safety quiz. So you won't be able to enter the lab without that. And if you try to come with an old safety quiz, that will tell me that it's not for the right quiz and it's not for the right time. So that information is all embedded in the QR code that you will get. So you can sign up for any lab at any time. You can sign up for all of your labs at the beginning of the course if you choose to do so. It's perfectly fine because that was one of the complaints that we had before was that, we had to do it later. And that, so you can sign up whenever you want. But you need to make sure that if you're going to do it at the last minute, you give yourself enough time to make that happen. So that's the first part of how you get signed up for lab. And the second thing that has to happen when you're signing up for lab is that you have to watch these lab tutorial videos. So each lab that you're going to physically do has a tutorial video that goes with it. That tutorial video will talk about the background for that lab, safety considerations for that lab, data collection considerations for that lab, and sort of the equipment that you have to collect to do that experiment. The way that we're running these labs, these flex labs, is you watch the video and then you go to lab and you're expected to do that lab on your own. So you have enough information in your lab manual to be able to do it by yourself. You've watched this video that should talk to you about how to set everything up, how to do everything that you need to do. So anything that's not like if it's new glassware and you don't know how to use it, you should have seen that. And of course, you have the option to have your phone and you can watch that video again when you're in there because there's no limit on how many times you can watch the videos. Okay? Once you've taken the quiz, you can watch that video again as many times as you want. Now, the first time you watch it, there is a quiz that goes with it. And that score will determine whether or not you can get into the lab. So what happens is you will get questions as you go through. You'll have to answer those questions. You need to score at least 65% on that quiz to be able to pass. Now, if you don't, you will need to talk to your instructor and they will initiate a conversation with you to say, okay, what was the issue here? Now, why are we doing that? Because what we don't want is for you to just take the quiz and click your way through it and then figure out what the answers are and then go back. We're not doing that. So you will have to talk to your instructor about what it was that you did not understand about that video. You will then get a second opportunity to take that, to watch that video, but you'll get an entirely different quiz. It won't look anything like the one that you did before. So then you'll get another opportunity to do that quiz. So that's the second time. Now, we really don't want you to do it again, but if it is required for you to do it one more time, you will have to have another conversation with your instructor. That's all there is to it. This is, and at that point, you need to talk to the head of the department because there is a lack of understanding that's going on there, and we need to make sure that you understand that you need to be taking this seriously. So this is a very, safety is a big concern for us in these laboratories. So we need to make sure that you understand that that's why we're doing this. So safety is our concern, and that's why we are doing things the way that we do. And once you've passed that, I will generate a QR code for you guys that will be emailed to you. You are responsible for bringing that emailed QR code with you to the lab that you have signed up for. And once you do that lab sign up, you'll get a reminder 2 days before you're supposed to go that says, hey, by the way, you signed up for this lab. If you need to reschedule, click here. And you can reschedule. That's perfectly fine. But again, you need to remember that there are limitations for how you can do that. Right? You are allowed to do the rescheduling. That's perfectly fine, as long as you're able to do so without, missing the lab. You are required to do every experiment. That is a requirement for the course. Lab is not optional. It is something that you have to complete. So you have to do every lab. Right? You cannot just opt out, and you have to show up when you're supposed to show up. We have to show up, so do you. So that's those parts. So once you show up, you will scan that QR code that will signal that you're supposed to be there at that time. If you try to get into a lab that you're not signed up for, you will be denied. So that will let you in. You can then do the experiment. We ask that you sign out on your way out. Once you get, when you give that kit back to the instructor, sign out, and that we will know how long you were there. That's just information purposes for us. It has nothing to do with you. It's just information purposes for us. 2 hours after you've left the lab, you'll get a reminder to do the survey for that particular experiment. And the surveys will be under More. And then you'll see Surveys. And there will be a bunch of surveys. So you will have surveys for every experiment that you do. So the surveys get a score, i.e., all I want to know is, did you do it? I don't care what you said. I mean, I do care. I absolutely care. And me, as a physical sciences coordinator, I look at all of that data. And that's data that I collect after the semester to see how things went. We did this for the first time in the spring, and students really hated the way that they were having to sign up for labs. And that's why we're changing it and doing it this way now. So we did respond to the feedback that we got, and we made some changes. They also didn't like the videos that we put together last time, so we've changed it. We're doing some new videos this time. We had them done very differently this time than we did the last time. So we do take that feedback into consideration, but we do not look at it before you get your grades. It is not the consideration for that. You just get points for having done it. All we're looking at is, did you do the survey? And so these responses, this list right here, of whether or not you did it, if you can take a screenshot of this page and then put that within here in the assignments, you'll see that down here, lab discussion surveys, there is a place for each of those. And so if you can put a screenshot there, it does a couple of things for me. So one, it will, when that's due, you'll get a 0 if nothing was submitted. Now, this is just a placeholder for me to be able to give you a score, because the survey won't allow me to give you a score for it. It's just something in the system. It won't let me do that. So this is a place for me to be able to give you a score for doing that survey. So if you submit something here, you don't automatically get that 0. And of course, if I can see, hey, yeah, okay, that number's there, then I can automatically give you the points that you're supposed to get. So it just makes life easier for everyone involved. So if you can do that, that would be a huge help to me. All right, so you will have all of that. Now, there are drop boxes here for exam quizzes and things like that. You probably won't need them, but they're here for backup just in case weather goes crazy and we have to do a virtual test, or something happens and you're in the hospital and you have to do a virtual test, something along those lines. That things like that have happened, so that's why they're there. You will see that there are things here for the labs and the post labs. So you will, in the lab manual, which let me go back to the lab manual, what you'll find is that every lab has some stuff that goes with it. So, and of course I had to pick this lab, didn't I? Scroll through different ones. So every lab has stuff that goes with it. So when you're in the lab, you're supposed to record all of the data that you did and the calculations that you did. And you're not required to do the calculations in the lab. You just have to record your data. Okay, that's a requirement. You have to do that in pen, and you have to have me sign, whoever your instructor is will countersign that. So they'll initial it and they'll date it. If you don't get that done, it's like you weren't in lab. That's a legal requirement. Someone has to countersign your data. So that has to happen. Okay. You do your calculations afterwards, and all of that you need to take pictures of. So all of this stuff you'll need to take pictures of and turn in as the lab. You'll also turn in this post-lab assignment. So this is a bunch of questions that you should be able to answer based on what you've done in lab. So the things that we asked you to do, you should be able to answer these questions. So you'll bundle all that together, do all of that, turn that in as one assignment, and then I will give you a score for both the lab and the post-lab. So both of those things will get a score. So that is what you will be doing for all of those. Now we do have some of these labs, and if we look at the lab schedule, I can show you that. So some of them are things outside of this, like that Flynn safety lab. There's a recorded safety lab that we have. There are the physical labs, which are all in black, and then we have some paper labs. So names and formulas is a paper lab that's in the lab manual. And then we have the gas laws, which is a virtual lab, the molecular structures and shapes, which is a virtual lab, and the freezing point depression, which is a virtual lab. So those will be done in ALEX. So those are done a little bit differently. And based on that, you will be able to, so those you'll be able to do on your computer. You won't have to physically be in the lab to do that, but you still have the opportunity to do them and ask questions. You have multiple options to do them. So if you're running into problems, let me know. I do have some videos that I put up. We do have videos that we put up to talk about what are some of the pain points for these? What are things that you need to watch out for? And some recommendations that I made about what you can do, because they are open note quizzes that are in ALEX after the fact. So you can write down a whole bunch of information about what you did and how you did it so that you can get a better score on those quizzes. And you have 2 opportunities for every quiz. So if you take it the first time and you didn't understand something that happened, ask somebody, me, somebody else. I mean, asking me is a good idea because I usually know how to answer that. And I can talk you through it. And then you can go back and try it again. Okay? And you only have to do the ones that you didn't get right the first time. So I didn't fix that. Oops. Sorry, the name of the lab changed. And I thought I'd fixed it here, but I didn't fix it here. It's Powerade. Sorry, that's terrible. I'll have to fix that. Sorry. Fix that schedule. It's going to bug me if I don't. All right. So that's that. There is an intro discussion that you're going to do, and I will have you do that. I want you to introduce yourself to us. We will talk about this in class too, but I want you to introduce yourself to us. And I ask you to do it here just so that I get all of this information to be able to look at after class. So it's useful to me. And during that first day, that introduction, we're also going to do an icebreaker discussion about some things. So that's going to be, I hope, a fun thing to do. You will have your grades in here. I don't think I need to talk about that. The quizzes that you will take are actually in UJA. So there will be a link to those. So the videos, these lab tutorial videos will have quizzes in them. So the link will take you to the quizzes that are in UJA. It's all connected, but that score will go directly into your gradebook. So that's all of that. Now, again, you can't see a ton of stuff in here. Why? Well, that's because I have it limited. So you need to do something. You have to take an action to see the rest of the material. And what is the action that you need to take? Well, there's two things. So there are a couple of quizzes in here, and all three of these are required as things that need to be done in the first 4 days of class. So you need to do all of these. But it's this acknowledgement activity that allows you to see other materials. So you need to come in and do this, and I'm going to go ahead and do it right in front of you because all of these just say, I looked at things. I've read the syllabus. I read the lecture schedule. I read the syllabus addendum. I've read the course. Oh, I have to take that out, remove the course policies. Because I combined that into the syllabus addendum. So I need to remove that. You acknowledge that there is a lab component and that you are required to do it. I found the lab manual and I've reviewed it. And the virtual labs are based on that as well. I understand that Alex is a required part of the class for both the lecture and the lab, and I've set up an account on Alex. And whether you've done it at this point or not, you will have to do that. Okay. I acknowledge that a calculator capable of doing scientific notation based 10 logs, which cannot connect to the internet in any way, is required for this course. So if it connects to the internet, you will not be allowed to use it. That does mean you cannot use your cell phone as a calculator during the test. I acknowledge that I must notify Dr. Hartley before, during, or 24 hours after a missed assignment to request additional time on it. Failure to do so in that period of time means I get no opportunity to get those points back. That applies to labs, homework, quizzes, exams, whatever. Okay? I do not have space or bandwidth to be granting extensions forever. I acknowledge that I am aware that for each hour I spend in class, approximately 1 hour of study time outside of class is required. I also acknowledge that it is expected that for this course, a student would be in class 12 hours a week due to the lecture and lab components. So that total time per week expected is 24 hours. Some students may not require all that time. Some students may require more than that. And why do I tell you this? Because realistically, that's how much time you're going to need. It is a lot, okay? It is a ton to be doing this. And if that's too much for you to do right now, then maybe it's not the best time to do this. But if that's what you have to do and you have to do it right now, then you're going to have to think about how do you manage that with the other things in your life. Okay? It is a big ask. When I took this class the first time, I wasn't doing anything except school, and this is practically all I did. I lived and breathed this subject, and it's not just because I loved it. It's because I needed to. It is a lot. And chemistry is one of those things. It's like learning a foreign language that also has to be applied in a technical field. It's one of those classes where it's probably the first time that you've had to do that. So most people don't know how to approach it. So, but now that I've done that acknowledgement activity, I can now come out and look at my content and things look a lot different. So I now have exam stuff that I can look at, and I have a whole bunch of things that are in here. So in each of these things, and I'm going to skip down just a little bit because sig figs is a review in case you aren't very good with significant figures. So that is a review, and units matter of measure, that we're going to talk about, but this is the first like really good one. So you will find the PowerPoint that I will speak to in class. You'll find some in-class practice. So this is stuff that when class is over, we would be talking through, and then the key to that. So this is the written out answers. Now, they're not that legible. My handwriting sucks. But if you can't read it, talk to me about it. Okay? I'm trying to work to get better, more legible question and answer sheets. I'm working on that, but it's a slow process. So these are meant to be broken down in a much simpler way than what you're going to see in Alex. Okay? So Alex is the other thing. Now, notice that you can't see right now Alex. Okay, that's true. And that's because I've added an additional component to it because I want to make sure that everything is ready before you guys get into it. So there is another component that I wanted to have done before anybody got into that. So I'm not actually doing this right. So don't think any of these answers are correct. None of those answers are right because I haven't reviewed this yet, and none of those dates are right. So now I've submitted that. And again, that was just something I did so that I would have to do that so that we wouldn't see Alex first. So the Alex opt-in is something that you will have to do. Now, it looks very different for me than it does for you. And that's because I have a different access to it than you do. So you'll have to do this opt-in that says, hey, yes, I want to use this text. And then there'll be a link to the actual Alex. Okay. Now, my access to Alex is a little bit different than that. So I have to go in this way because it won't let me enter as a student because I'm not a student. So I have to come in here and then I need to get into one of my courses. Classmate. And now I can do view as student. So that you'll be able to see what Alex looks like. So Alex is its fun program. It is linked to our class. There is this pie thing. So Alex is designed to be adaptive so that it can learn from what you already know and work with that. We don't use it that way. So we use it in a static mode. And so we always go to assignments once we've done some introductory stuff in here. And then you'll be able to see, here's the stuff that's assigned to you. So you'll have exam 1, exam 2, exam 3, the virtual labs, and the post labs. So those are the things that will be in here for you. So those you'll have to take and work with in terms of Alex. So you will have that. Within Alex, you will have access to a textbook. There is a book in here. You can order a print copy of it if you want to. So there is a copy of the textbook. Do not claim that there is no textbook, and that is right here. Your syllabus, which is in here, contains information about that textbook. And it includes, so when we talk about units of measure and matter, it says chapter 1, sections 3 through 6, and chapter 1, sections 7 through 9. So there are two different parts. We're talking about units of measure and then matter. And those are the parts in the textbook that you are talking about for that. So if I wanted to look at that textbook again, I can then go to chapter 1 and look at the first part, and I can read through those sections. Is it my recommendation to do that? You bet. I am that student. So a lot of the questions that you'll get come directly from the textbook, and that is a part of what you'll see. There are, in addition to that, some exam practices. These are just practices, okay? But they are designed as tests. And the reason for that is it allows you to take it as a test. And it will allow me to, if you turn it in, then comment on it, look at it, see how you're doing, that kind of stuff. So it will give me the ability to do that. When I had it as a homework, it didn't work as well. Like I wasn't able to give people feedback on it. So this is why it's set up this way. It is not the actual test, and that's why it says practice. Okay, so it won't be that test. Your tests with me will be on paper. There is also in each section some practice in here that is for true, false, and multiple guess. So there are different kinds of questions here. The reason for all of this is to prepare you for those exams. So you should find those exams are very, very, very similar to what you're looking at with these. So I hope that will be helpful. I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. And I know I've been talking forever, so I hope that was helpful. I will go over most of this again on the first day of class, but again, I just wanted you to have an introduction so that you could see some of these things, and it usually gives me some things I need to go fix, so I will go and fix those. And hopefully you will get everything you need in its properly fixed state. So thanks a lot. I will talk to you guys soon. All right. Good night.